What's going on? Ooh. Look at that cape. Oh my gosh. Is this the 18Z? Oh no, let's go to the 12Z. Or the 18Z. Pulled back on cape. 18Z GFS pulled back on cape. Let's go to most unstable. Oh, we're gonna talk about it right now. Yeah, I wanted to get back on in like 20 minutes, and then my wife got stuck in traffic. So bad traffic, so I wasn't able to get right back on. We're going to talk about it. Okay, the GFS has pulled off some of this cape. Still throwing some pretty strong cape up into all the way up even in Minnesota. Take a look at some of these soundings. Skew T. Some inhibition out here. Okay. Nothing crazy. Let's see here. Let's look at some of these soundings. Yeah, classic early spring setup. Okay, decent look here. We saw a crazy setup over in Texas earlier. Let me see if we have anything updated from the SBC, if they've moved this at all. Okay, so they do have day 6 starting down there in Texas. Let's take a look at this. Oops. Let's go here. Let's see. What does it have this low getting down? Sorry guys, this is my first time looking at the 18Z here. I just want to see what it's doing with this system. Getting down to a 971 low, which is crazy. There's that big explosion of storms. I want to see what the cape looks like down there when that happens. Not much. The 18Z is way more aggressive on this still. I mean, the Euro. Look at the Euro on this. Doing wild things. I want to take a look at this with you guys. All right. This is a type of setup that can create supercells here. So got a tiny little bit of convective inhibition there. Sin. You've got a decent amount of cape right here. So you got this is your lapse rate right here, guys. This is your environmental temperature. This is what your environmental temperature is expected to be. In between here, that's your cape. So if you have a parcel of air, this is your parcel of air that is much warmer than the environment around it. It's going to rise and expand quick. The warmer it is, the warmer it is from its environment, the quicker it's going to expand. And this is what creates thunderstorms. And right, what you have down here is a cap, so it's not quite broken. So the air doesn't want to rise yet. But as the day goes on and this temperature increases, that cap will break, and then it'll basically snap, and suddenly you get thunderstorms, supercells, dangerous severe storms that can just explode out of nowhere within 30 minutes to an hour. So this is a pretty interesting looking sounding there. Let's look here. This one even more. Again, you decent cape, a little bit of inhibition here. Basically 2K from surface, forecast, and most unstable cape. Decent amount of wind shear. This is looking like a really good setup. Unfortunately, this is crazy to me. What's happening here? All right, one second, guys. I'll get to your questions in a second. I'm just, like I said, I just want to see. I'm looking at some of this for the first time. This. Let's go here. 33 joules. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. 3,000 surface level cape. 3,300 forecast. Most unstable at 3K. Cyclical. Hodograph. Tons of wind shear. Got southerly winds moving into westerly winds. Change in velocity is massive. All right. Well, let's hope our euro downtrends like the GFS, but the euro's looking crazy. Okay. What's going on, chat? What is going on? Yeah, so this is for Friday. It's going to kick off on Friday, and then it's going to be through Saturday. Is probably going to be the biggest event. We've got a lot of storm chasers talking about this event. Let's see what these are doing out ahead of the system. Oh, what was that? Is southern Minnesota going to get severe weather? You guys will probably be in a marginal at least. Maybe even a slight, but you'll probably be in a marginal. That is some wind shear right there, guys. That is some wind shear. Wow. Yeah, no, what I think will happen, based on what we're seeing, let's look at this. I'll just look at the future radar right now, the composite. I think we may have a marginal, and this, I think 970 is crazy on the euro. I think we may get a marginal risk. I think the slight's going to increase. I actually think the slight might move back. I think the slight's going to increase in size, and I think we're going to have a marginal, much bigger marginal like this, something like that, for our day 6. It's going to be big, and then we might get an enhanced. We'll see where the enhanced goes. Maybe a moderate. You've already got Reed Timmer freaking out looking at the models, talking about, potentially something big. So the last 2 events that look like they could be big tornado outbreaks, they weren't complete busts. I mean, there was a lot of tornadoes associated with them, very strong winds, big hail in some cases, but they weren't the outbreak wasn't as severe as we projected, or as it was projected to be. I'd say this one probably has the best potential. Just based off of our lower level jet, based off of this one has significantly more cape forecast and far out, whereas there was so little cape, which is typical when the more you push into spring and the warmer your temperatures get. Usually the more the more cape you'll see in the modeling. The more heat you have, the more potential energy you have. So that's typical. This is going to be have more potential than those last two outbreaks. So we'll watch it. Will Florida be affected by this? Northern Florida, Orlando up. You may see a marginal, maybe even a slight for North Florida, but at least a marginal risk. Nothing crazy, but you probably will be involved in some severe weather risk on Saturday into Sunday. Jax, Florida, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, the Saturday or Sunday. Which day do you think is best? That's tough. Let's see. Let's look at our timing right now. Yeah, it's probably going to be Sunday. You're going to go through a squall line, but I mean, Saturday, the severe weather Saturday in Alabama is going to be so bad. I mean, at least from what we can see right now. So, yeah, I would say Sunday. I would not drive there on Saturday. Let me look at... Let's go on Saturday. Yeah. Saturday is going to be aggressive in Alabama. Look at that. Wait, why is that like that? There we go. Let's fix that. What's going on, Kyle? It was good. Yeah, his birthday was good. Yeah, St. Louis could end up in a... So I think St. Louis will end up in an enhanced. Moderate, I don't know, but I think you guys will end up in an enhanced based on how this is looking right now. It's interesting. You can see what's happening Thursday here, too. But you can really see the jet kick in here. I think you may end up in an enhanced. Let's take a look at this. It's hard to tell. Slider enhanced. Is winter over for the East? It may be. You still have the GFS in that on the 21st, showing a potential for some snow in the Mid-Atlantic, but the other models aren't agreeing. The other models just aren't bringing that trough, aren't showing as amplified a trough on the 20th through the 22nd, meaning we're not going to have the cold air we need down here. So, you can kind of see it. If we push out here on the Euro, here's our chance here, and the Euro doesn't dig this trough that far to the south. GFS is more aggressive on this. Let me see if the 18Z shows out that far yet. You can see the GFS is being super aggressive on this troughing. This would be moving out east, and the 12Z brings it pretty far south. It's far out though, so it wants to put a little bit of snow out in the Mid-Atlantic potentially. So. Again, I think the Euro is going to win out on this. It is interesting, though, because we do have a lot... we do have a big stratospheric warming event happening with our stratospheric polar vortex still. Let me show you this here. So, let's go into our... Here we go. Let's go into Northern Hemisphere. Look at this. Got a stratospheric heating event happening up here over Alaska and Canada, and a stratospheric cooling event happening down here over the States. Typically, this is a lagging event, and you'll get some much colder air than is normal down there over the States. But we're not really seeing that showing up too much in the teleconnections or in our globals really until about the 24th of March. But once you get too far into spring. Even if you have this big stratospheric cooling event in the lower 48, the temperatures may not be able to get cold enough to give you any more snow. So, it's not. This is giving us a chance to get a late snowstorm in March, but we'll have to see how it plays out because, if our NAO is positive, and you don't get, you don't have the ability to hold in this cold air out east, it's just we're not gonna get any sort of storm system. We're not going to have good storm tracks, so we'll see. I know some people are really happy about that. Will Feds, what's going on? Will Ohio get any severe weather? Ohio's probably going to be I wonder if Ohio could end up being in a slight risk. I think Ohio could end up being in a slight risk. Let's see. Let's go look at Let's look at our day 6. This is going to shift out east. This risk zone is going to expand and shift out east. So you could end up seeing a slight risk out here. And then, this slight risk just transferring out to the east. But, we'll wait till tomorrow. We'll see what happens. This is interesting for Saturday into Sunday. Let's see here. You've got your main low. Let me see how the Euro reads this. Let me see how the Euro reads this. 1 second, guys. You have your main low here. So here's your main. Here's your first kind of frontal boundary associated with this low pressure right here. But then you have a surface-based low that kind of spawns up after it. Here you go, right here. So this is almost kind of a second system, but it's associated with this low pressure up here to the north. And then you get another massive frontal boundary moving out east. So that's where there's another big threat down there in the deep south on Saturday into Sunday. Which would happen actually after some severe weather moved over Ohio. You'd get that moving over Ohio, kind of breaking apart, and then you'd see this big explosion down here in the south of thunderstorms and severe weather potentially. This is, again, we're seeing more forecasted CAPE with this event than we've seen from anything yet this year. Like I said, that's not crazy. As you push more into spring, you get more heat. That's more energy. You get more CAPE. You get these parcels of air that are much warmer than the environment around them. And so they're able to rise and expand much quicker the farther you get into spring because of that heat energy. So you get worried when you see these, if this thing really is going to bomb down here to 970, if this is really going to get down to 970, which I don't know, this would be kind of record breaking, I'm pretty sure. Anything's possible down here. I mean, our lower level jet is cranking through here. So shear and CAPE do look good on this day, on Friday through early morning Sunday. Laddie Mub, what's going on? Yeah, I mean, this would be Saturday afternoon in Alabama, would be a mess. It's like right on that edge that the future radars are falling for the biggest storms. I think Memphis and Illinois have a bigger risk than us potentially. This is a pretty decent squall line moving off the coast, and we have to watch what happens here too. Like I said, I just think this has potential to, the other two big severe weather outbreaks that we've had over the last 3 weeks, they put down some tornadoes. There were some strong winds associated with squall lines. There was not really much flooding, but there was flooding with our early February one, and there was some decent hail. I mean, this just has a lot more potential. We had a 6-7 day slight outlook. The difference was our CAPE wasn't really there with our last event. The CAPE, you had timing that was off. So, if your low-level jet isn't cranking up at the right time, it's going to be a dud. Any big winter storms coming for Montana in March? It's interesting. We've got a lot of snow and cold air moving into the west. You can see beginning on basically Wednesday, you see multiple storms moving into the west, dropping a lot of snow out there in the Rockies. A lot of snow, a lot of cold air, and potentially some good snow down into Arizona and New Mexico as well. You can see what's happening down here. So we could get some pretty far southern snow down there in the southwest. Montana, really up in the mountains. There's really no low elevation snow projected from any of this, but some decent snow up in the mountains in the Rockies. This is pivotal weather. That's the website I'm using. Yeah, Georgia's got to watch out for severe weather. It's the timing right now is Saturday evening, this upcoming Saturday. Minnesota blizzard. People have been asking about this. The trends with this low, though, are that it's going to go kind of, that you guys are going to have to be dealing with more of a severe weather threat than a blizzard. You could get some big, if this were to happen, you'd get some big back end snow and potentially some ice. Let's look at what the new GFS does with this system. Does it bring it farther south? No, it actually pushes it. Well, no, yeah, not really. It's a little bit farther, still up to the northwest. This could be some big snow for central and eastern Montana if that happens. We'll have to see what I really want to. The 00Z Euro tonight might lock in if this thing is going to be more of a northern track or more of a southern track. What's up, Charles? Yeah, this could end up being a severe weather event on Saturday up for the Mid-Atlantic and New England coast, potentially, depending on how far this low tracks up to the north. You could actually get some kind of QLCS tornadoes up in New England in the Mid-Atlantic. Oh my god, I know. I hate the time change. I hate it. How does Washington look? Should I work Monday? I mean, you guys got some... Yeah, I mean, there's nothing crazy going on up there. You guys just got a bunch of rainfall. This low that's moving into the coast is 986. Nothing insane. No severe weather projected for you guys anytime soon up in Washington. Southern Illinois, yeah, Southern Illinois could end up being an enhanced. Do they have you in the slight right now? Yeah, they do. They do have you in the slight in day 6. So, you know, you could end up seeing an enhanced in here. It'd probably be farther down. But yeah, Southern Illinois needs to pay attention closely Friday into Saturday. The setup's looking crazy. I mean, if we really do, we'll see what the Euro's still going to adjust. If we really do see a 970 millibar low, you're going to have winds whipping up here too. They're going to be whipping down here at the bottom. I mean, you're going to have obviously this lower level jet pumping through, but you could see severe weather really like up here. We could get a marginal way up north like that. Or even a slight actually, depending on where this thing goes. If this low tracks a little bit farther up to the north, you could get a slight up here. Slight risk with the marginal even farther to the north. Dallas, yeah, you know, right now they have these thunderstorms firing up right to the east of DFW. It all is going to depend on the timing of this thing. You know, you can see that where they have it firing up, boom, this is like where the cap breaks, and then suddenly you get these massive updrafts right out to the east of Dallas, Fort Worth. So right now, Dallas looks fine. You got to pay attention closely, though, because any slight shift to the west, or if this thing starts cutting to the northeast a little bit quicker, you could end up seeing that severe weather, that slight or enhanced risk, shift out to the west and include Dallas-Fort Worth. Right now, you guys aren't included, I'm pretty sure, in this outlook. You're not. You're just out to the west. Just out to the west of it, of their slight. You'll probably end up being in a marginal regardless, but we'll have to see if it shifts out west and that slight does push back out west. Yeah, West Virginia's gonna get put in a risk zone probably tonight or tomorrow morning. I think we're gonna see these risk zones expand. Yeah, this thing could really start. As early as Friday morning. This would be our cap breaking right there. This wants to be Friday evening, but you can start to see some storms that want to fire up as early as kind of midday Friday. So we have to wait. We've got to wait on the timing. The timing is going to adjust a little bit because we're still talking 5 days out. Pittsburgh got some good snow Friday night. Oh, they did? Nice. It was a heavy band of wet snow. Oh, wow. Yeah, I wasn't even paying attention to that. That's cool. Woke up wanting to go back to bed. North Dakota, Minnesota border. You guys could end up in blizzard conditions. This right here, we'll see how it tracks. 970 millibar low. You would have 60, 70 mile per hour gusts in here, pushing through North Dakota, Minnesota border. But again, this thing could end up shifting a little bit to the south, or it could go even farther north, which would actually enhance your blizzard conditions on that border of North Dakota and Minnesota. We'll watch and see how it trends over the next couple days. Any snow for upstate New York? Not much in the immediate forecast. A little clipper system here. We'll have to see what that does next Tuesday. But from there, we'll have to wait. Yeah, from there, we'll have to wait. Nothing in the immediate future. Heavy snow in upstate New York. Is it about mountain areas that make it harder for tornadoes to form? Or is that a myth? No, it is. more difficult. There's a lot of different things. Mountainous areas, you have cool air a little bit higher up. Your surface air is a little bit cooler because you're at elevation. If your surface air is warmer, your parcel air at the surface is warmer, it can expand and it can rise and expand easier. When your surface air is in the mountains and it's cooler, it's not going to rise and expand as easy. It also has to do with when you get wind shear. You want strong updrafts to tilt that wind shear up, and the mountains really interfere with updraft interaction with wind shear. It's just the terrain. That's why you see most of your strongest tornadoes in the plains. You get these rotating columns of air on the surface, and then it's easy for the updrafts to fly in across the surface and tilt them up. But these updrafts, when they get into the mountains and they hit the mountains, they're dispersed. It's harder for them to tilt these columns of air up vertical. You've got cooler surface air up in the mountains. So it's why you typically don't see... You can get tornadoes in the mountains. I mean, there's been tornadoes in Asheville, and you can get tornadoes up. There's been tornadoes in the mountains of, Virginia and West Virginia, North Carolina. You can get them in the Rockies, too. It's really hard to get them in the Rockies because it's so high elevation. They're more common in the Appalachian Mountains out east. Bro, don't be showing us snow anymore. What about Fort Payne, Alabama? I don't know where that is, but I will say if you're anywhere in Alabama, you need to be paying attention on this upcoming Saturday with the look that we have right now. What's the chance of tornadoes in West Virginia this year? Well, the call this year is that Dixie Alley and out east is going to be active. So we're really watching this area. Okay, your typical tornado alley, guys, is here, basically. This is a rough drawing of it, okay? This is your typical tornado alley. Tornado alley. This is your Dixie Alley, although Dixie Alley is really actually just down here, but we'll just, because this is Hoosier Alley as well. But we'll just call this whole thing Dixie Alley. There's a pretty strong consensus that Dixie Alley is it's expected to see a much more active tornado season. So that does include portions of the Tennessee Valley, Ohio Valley, deep south, and potentially even out here towards the Carolinas. We'll have to see, at least to start off the tornado season. And then the expectation is as we get into late April into May, we're going to see those tornadoes start to shift back out into your typical tornado alley, back out into the plains. But over the next 2 months, we're watching actually out here more than we're watching out here. And this is kind of true with the last couple storms we've had, and including, although there's been some in Oklahoma out here to the west. This one, again, is kind of expected. You can see where they have this. Your typical tornado alley is more through here. This is farther off east. And then this slight's going to shift out east again. You can see it in the deep south. They have it projected for Saturday into Sunday. So that's kind of the consensus on this tornado season. Weak La Nina, you have a very meridional trough, so lots of ridges, lots of valleys. That's going to bring in a lot of cold air, warm air interaction. You can get a lot of shear with this. So we're in an Enso cycle that promotes severe weather. You see a lot more tornadoes and severe weather typically in a La Nina, especially it doesn't matter weak or strong. You see a lot more in a La Nina than in El Nino. We're in a La Nina. Our Gulf waters are approaching 1.5 degrees Celsius above average as well. So got a jet stream that's going to want to be pulling southwesterly winds off of the Gulf because we're in that La Nina. We've got that meridional troughing like this, and then you get those winds, southwesterly winds pulling, close to record heat and moisture off the Gulf. That's why you get setups like this, and that's why they're watching Dixie Alley, especially this tornado season. So through here, especially. March looks like it's going to be very interesting. It is going to be very interesting. We could have another severe setup right after this one, as in like Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Let's not get back into that. Listen, I don't include Missouri in the Midwest. Midwest, to me, is Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio. That's my Midwest. Okay? Missouri's in the plains. I mean, southern Missouri is a little bit mountainous, but central to northern Missouri is in the plains. We're not getting back into this. I don't care if you look it up and it says it's in the Midwest. People in the Midwest, my wife's from Minnesota. She gets so mad when people in Minnesota get so mad when people in Missouri say they're from the Midwest. It's like a thing. Like Minnesota can't stand it when people from Missouri say they're in the Midwest. Don't ask me, guys. It's in a weird spot, you know what I mean? Because you've got like, this is like, in meteorology, this is like south central. This is southeast, deep south, right? And then you've got like Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, New England, Midwest, Northern Plains. So you've got Missouri right in here, which is like smack dab between Midwest, Ohio Valley, Southeast, South Central, Northern Plains. It's directly in the center of all these different regions, like meteorological regions. So, I mean, really, it could claim a bunch. It could, like, claim South Central as well. What do I call Nebraska? Central Plains. You know, these are you got the Rockies here. You've got kind of the Rockies here. And then you've got a big gap. You have the Appalachians here. A lot of the stuff here is plains. So this is kind of what I call, this is kind of the northern plains up here. I would consider this, up here my northern plains. I would consider this in here my central plains, and then south central. At least when I'm talking in a meteorological standpoint, if I say central plains, I'm speaking like eastern Colorado into Nebraska and Kansas. When will Philly wind end? Well, let's take a look at our wind moving forward here. Look, moves out. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. No wind moving into Tuesday. Beautiful. Then boom, right back at it on Wednesday. Then we get a break from wind again as we move into late Wednesday into Thursday. We get a good break really Wednesday through Friday, almost a wind. Then here we go. This is the severe weather setup. That's just blasting everyone with wind. Look at this. Look at this, guys. This is 10 meter. So this is 30 feet off the ground. Look at this. Wait, it says 80 in here somewhere. Let's see if I can find it, guys. 79. Can I find the 80? It says 80 mile per hour winds through central Texas. Wind gusts. Category 1 hurricane strength. That's because you're going to have a freaking 970 millibar low up here. So it's going to activate this really, really strong lower level jet. This is what's going to help pull in all that cape. And you have those winds transferring up the coast. 50, 60 mile per winds, 60 mile per hour gusts up through the mid-Atlantic and New England as we push into Sunday, Monday, probably Sunday this week. At least that's how the Euro sees it. Strong wind event if this low really gets that deep. We're being battered with winds in Baltimore nonstop. Yeah, we'll have a little bit of a break through the middle of the week. A little bit of a break. 970 is going to be interesting. Yeah, Jess. The GFS pulled back a little bit and is saying 974 now, which is still a crazy low pressure. It's crazy low, like over surface low, but or a low pressure moving over land. But if the Euro comes out and the 000 tonight and still shows like a 970, I would love to see this thing just. I don't want it. This, obviously severe weather is very interesting to me. I don't want it to harm anyone or damage any property, but I think it'd be crazy to see the Euro put that thing down into the 960s. That's literally a bomb cyclone over land. How's Indiana looking severe weather-wise? Indiana's looking potentially pretty severe, especially southern Indiana Saturday. Watch what happens tonight. As that day 6 moves into day 5 risk outlook tomorrow, we might see them throw an enhanced and move that slight up in Indiana. I think they actually will. Like I can almost, you can see it a little bit there. I think the slight is going to expand potentially like this, and I think we're going to end up getting a big enhanced in here, but we'll see tomorrow. They don't want to. It's not that they don't think this could be an enhanced, moderate, or even even potentially severe risk, but or high risk. But they're not going to label it that. They wait to kind of increase the risk zone until you get closer. So I'm sure they're watching that. Oh, Fade, I didn't even see you way up there. I mean, tornadoes in Jersey are possible. That would kind of be a Sunday event. This Sunday, we'll watch. How is the wind from Kansas to Georgia? Monday and Tuesday? I think Monday to Tuesday is. Let's look. Actually, let's take a look. Monday, not too bad. I mean, some gusty. I mean, nothing severe wind-wise. No, I mean, some gusting, maybe 25, 27 miles per hour. Nothing severe. Why do you think this storm will hit Charlotte? Well, I can tell you what our latest Euro thinks timing-wise. I can look at this, and I can tell you what it thinks timing-wise. So this right now, it thinks timing-wise, basically midnight, Saturday going into Sunday. 1 a.m. Let's say 1 a.m. Sunday. But this timing is going to shift a little bit. Storm's going to slow down or speed up. They always do. They never keep perfectly on track. Appreciate the follows and the subs, guys. Thank you. Thank you. I post every day and stream every night usually, and I took the weekend off, and I feel bad. It was my son's birthday. Family came into town, but I did feel bad because I don't like to. I like to keep on top of this. What's my prediction for Friday? I think we're going to see I think we could see some really, really strong storms firing up across Arkansas and southeastern Texas Friday afternoon. Thank you, Jess. Is this the current map? This is our 12Z Euro. So our Euro gives us kind of the most detail. At this range, we're going to get our NAM in about 48 hours, which is going to be nice. North American model. It's a mid to short range model. Is a high risk possible, Santi? Yeah, high risk is possible with this event. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we will get a moderate. 4 out of 5. I don't think we're going to get a high. Highs are super, super, super rare. But with this setup, it's not like out of the question that a high is possible with this setup. But I wouldn't be calling it a high right now. But if we do get a moderate, I mean, that's dangerous. There's 5 levels of risk, and a moderate would be a 4 out of 5. So, and the 5 out of 5 is like, sometimes you can go a whole year and not see a high risk. A lot of times you'll get like 1 or 2 a year. So moderate's usually what people are looking towards. Are we going to get into a moderate? But really anything, you can get tornadoes in a marginal risk, but it starts getting dangerous once you get into that slight risk and above. That 3 out of, really 2 out of 5 and above. How windy do you think it will get on day 5? Well, again, we can look at this. Look at these winds that start moving into Texas. This would be Friday afternoon, Friday evening. This is Friday evening in Texas. This is Friday around 7 p.m. in Texas. 80 mile per hour wind gusts right now the Euro thinks is possible. Moving out towards Dallas-Fort Worth, hurricane force wind gusts. Friday evening, moving into Friday night. DFW, moving out towards Texarkana up through Oklahoma, Kansas. So that's because the Euro does have this kind of 970 millibar low up here. So we have to see, the GFS I think sees a 974. Let's look what the GFS sees again with this low. How deep does it? Yeah, I mean, the GFS gets a 972. So this thing is, and you can see it goes from a 986 to a 971 in the span of like 12, 24 hours, that's what you call a bombing low. Just you start to get major updrafts when that happens. Kristen, I appreciate you. Precipitation Saturday? Yeah, here, I can show you quantitative precipitation in the latest outlook. Let's just move through this weekend. Obviously, the heaviest rainfall is being projected down here, Mississippi, Georgia. I mean, we'll say South Carolina, Mississippi, out through South Carolina and the Florida Panhandle, northern Florida. So, kind of the deep southish area. Nothing major up here. Now up here, a lot of this is going to be snow, so less precipitation. You need less precipitation to get heavy snow because there's a ratio with it. A lot of this out here, I mean, you're going to see Cascades in your Sierra Nevada get really, really heavy snow from this out here too. Some good snow potentially down here into, like I said earlier, into Arizona, New Mexico as well. Lots of cold air and snowfall being projected out here, out west over the next kind of 10 days. Lots of troughing. We're going to be in a negative PNA pattern, so we're going to have a lot of heat sitting out here to the east and a lot of cold air sitting out here to the west. Kind of holding for a little bit. Yeah, Park City, Utah is going to get some really good snow, I think, over the next 7 days. I mean, look at this. You got one good storm here. Added around Thursday into Friday. Then you move out. You get another decent storm out here. So you could get good snow around the 14th. You could get another decent snow at around the 15th or 16th, 17th, 18th. So there's some good snow projected for the central to southern Rockies, especially over the next 10 days. Okay, bye, Dexter. I appreciate you guys. Sean Curry? Is that your set? I appreciate you, man. Albuquerque, New Mexico. Yeah, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Let's go take a look here. Let me go into Weather Bell. Go into New Mexico. Let's get down here and let's go into Surface, Winter, Cuchera. Is this oh, the 18T of the Euro's loading now. I mean, look at this. This is about 5 days out. So, some decent snow creeping down into New Mexico. A lot of this is going to be high elevation. Remember, this is going to be pushing into mid-March, but Albuquerque is at a decent elevation, isn't it? I'm pretty sure. Just drove through Atlanta to Valdosta in the rain. Thanks. Thanks to you, I felt safe. So I appreciate that. You can see we do have a risk right now here in the southeast. So this is our day one risk down here. So just a marginal, and you have your thunderstorm risk, and then you have a marginal down here in southeastern Alabama, southern Georgia, and then central to northern Florida. Nothing major. I would say over around Tallahassee, we have a marginal risk right now. This is a marginal thunderstorm risk. We have a flash flood watch, I believe. It's not going to let me click it. Flash flood warning. Only radar indicate it, but this is Tallahassee down to the south and out west. So we've had a pretty strong band set up, kind of just trailing over this region for quite a while. This flash flood warning is probably going to expand out east towards Live Oak, Lake City in a little bit here. And some pretty strong cells potentially moving onto the coast in the Big Bend as well. You could end up getting a tornado out of one of these cells here. Hopefully not. We don't see a tornado watch or anything, but let me actually show you something really quick. Oh, sorry. You guys can't even see what I'm looking at. I'm so dumb. I do this all the time. Let me change my screen for you guys. Let's go here. There you go. Now you can see. So, yeah. So here's your flash flood warning. Again, Tallahassee to the south and west. This is probably going to expand out towards Live Oak, Lake City. Special weather statement. I think they're looking at these kind of these cellular type thunderstorms. Let me go to single site radar and see if I can take a look at this. So you've got some shear here. So again, this one right here heading out towards Horseshoe Beach, Cross City, High Springs. I'm a little bit worried about maybe tornado potential with that. Probably wouldn't be too significant, but you could get a water spout that moves onto shore with this one. They just expanded this special marine warning as well out to the east. So, so we'll watch that. Nothing, just this flash flood warning right now. Again, I expect that to expand out east. And then we've got another, what do we've got here? Another special weather statement up here, southeastern Alabama. But looking pretty safe there right now. All right, let me pull this out. Un momento. 1 second, guys. I don't need winter weather radar down here. I just need my reflectivity. There we go. If you guys do want to see, actually, let me see if I can show you this real quick. 4 to 8. Yeah, there's our date. There's our Friday to Saturday risk zone right now. Already a slight risk. Again, I do expect this to potentially expand quite far out, the slight risk like that. And then we could get an enhanced in here, maybe moderate, we'll see. All right, let me move this back. There we go. And let me switch this severe back. That's Radar Omega, the one I was just using. Do you think Ohio will have severe weather? I think some severe weather, yes, Saturday. I think it will. Unfortunately. We'll know more tomorrow once we get within that 4 to 5 day range. Connor looks so tired. You mean tired? It's been a long weekend for me. Not a lot of sleep. Entertaining family. And my son and waking up early. Yeah, I'm tired. I said I wanted to get on around 8 tomorrow. I might still do it. I mean, around 8 tonight. Although, what time is it already? Oh, it's already 7:13. Oh, wow. I was going to get off and get back on. I didn't realize how late it's getting. Oof. I'm actually, James, I'm actively setting up a Discord server. I want a Discord server for people, subs, followers, and everything to be able to hop in and for me to be able to put updates in and kind of talk with you guys and stuff like that. So that's kind of the project I'm working on right now. And hopefully that'll be rocking and rolling, within the next week or two. How will the winter storm heading up by South Dakota be? Because I know we're prepping. Yeah, it could be really intense. If I'm being honest, I don't know what to say. You've got our Euro model right now calling for a record-breaking low pressure. The lower the pressure gets, the more lift you get, the stronger, the more convection you get. Okay, and the stronger your winds get, because when you get a low pressure, you get massive pressure and temperature gradients surrounding this. Very cold air interacting with very warm air, and a very steep pressure gradient. This is what causes wind. The quicker the pressure changes, usually the stronger winds you get. So you could get really, really strong winds in here. You can see this ice, and that again, with really, really deep low pressures in March, you can also get really, really severe ice storms as well, because there's so much going on through the lower, mid, and upper levels of the atmosphere. When you have that deep of a low, there's a lot of issues with, again, the temperature gradient through all the not just through all the layers of the atmosphere, but over distance is also more dramatic. So right now, it looks like this thing's really the worst of it, is gonna be potentially eastern North Dakota, eastern South Dakota, western Minnesota. Like this area, we'll have to see. But I'm not even really looking at that too much right now, because I still think over the next 48 hours, this thing may shift farther up north, or it may shift farther south. So I'm not locking in this area for a blizzard ice storm yet, even though that's where it is on the future radar. We need more time. This thing's going to bounce around. It's going to slow down or speed up. So you guys may end up being perfectly fine in South Dakota. If this thing shifts a little bit farther up to the north, eastern South Dakota may just be on the rain side. Then you guys may actually end up being on the severe side. But if it goes farther south, we'll have to see. I would say Tuesday or Wednesday. We could probably lock in if we're where we're gonna have, because we're probably gonna get a blizzard, northern plains or northwestern Midwest. Where exactly it's gonna be, let's wait until probably midweek. I'd say Tuesday. We'll have a pretty good idea, actually. Yes, Santiago, what's going to rescue me is my bed tonight. How does it look for severe weather for Saturday in Clarksville, Tennessee? That's one of the areas I'm concerned about. One of the areas I'm most concerned about is I'll circle it for you guys. You know what? Let me show you guys the area that I think right now, but this could change. This could change, so don't worry if you live here. The area that and it's funny because I was talking about, to Mesomat about this, and I was like, dude, I'm really worried about kind of like the Mississippi through Tennessee into Kentucky area, and he agreed. This region specifically, I'm concerned with. Like northern Mississippi, central to western Tennessee, and then you kind of western Kentucky. This is the area I'm concerned with. You know, Reed Timmer was talking about potentially tornado chasing in western Kentucky. And that's like, you know, you don't want Reed Timmer in your area because that means the severe potential is probably pretty high. So, but I am worried about this stretch right here. But we'll see. There's going to be things that are still going to change. This could shift west, east, you know. North, east, southwest. We don't really know yet, but this is right now what looks like could be kind of your main target area. That's like when Jim Cantori comes to your city. You're like, oh crap, what's happening? Same thing with Reed Timmer, but you know it's tornadoes. Matt is cooked. I know, right? James, I got someone setting it up for me right now, but I appreciate that. I really do. I'll be posting it. I'll be posting it soon. Trying to get, that'll be cool. Yeah, Reed Timmer was in Alabama in 2011. Yeah. With the Friday storm, could eastern Iowa see its first severe storm of 2025? Yeah, it could. It could. We'll see. It potentially, yeah. Outdoor wedding 315 North Georgia. Outdoor wedding 315. Ooh, having an outdoor wedding in the southeast in spring is so ballsy. I'm not gonna lie. That's like having a beach wedding in Florida in like September or October. Peak hurricane season. 15th right now. Oh man. Oh God. Yeah. I hope this doesn't happen like this. Right now, the 15th looks like severe weather from North Georgia all the way to South Georgia. Strong squall line moving through. It would probably be moving through. Well, yeah, it'd probably be moving through Sunday evening, the worst of the weather. But the 15th evening. But again, sometimes these storms slow down or speed up. We'll probably see this thing speed up or slow down. These models aren't going to be perfect on the timing right now. So luckily, I think the timing may, if it's perfect, usually it speeds up or slows down. It would shock me if the timing was perfect, but a little bit sketchy. It's 2 p.m. You guys might be, because this stuff looks like it's moving in around 6 or 7 p.m. into Georgia right now on Sunday. So you might be okay. And a lot of times out ahead of these thunderstorms is very clear skies. So, because you have a high pressure out ahead of the low pressure, so you usually get nice weather before it moves over. Check sounding for Atlanta. I almost don't want to do it. Tons of wind shear. Wow, look at this. Not much Cape though. Not much Cape, but there probably will be Cape. Let me look out ahead of this. Let's look here. Yeah, we'll see this adjusted. Yeah, 1100 forecasted Cape. So, I mean, this is impressive to me. So. Cape is convective available potential energy. So, just to show you super quickly. Let's go to Mixler Sin. Let's go to most unstable Cape. So, this when you see a severe amount of Cape like this, Here's what you have. This right here is called your lapse rate. This is the temperature of the atmosphere as you go up higher in the atmosphere, up higher in the troposphere. Okay, that's the temperature. Sorry. This is what the temperature is forecast to be at this time as you go up in the atmosphere. Right there. Okay? So we're down at 1,000 millibars down here, all the way at the bottom. This is at the surface. This is almost at the tropopause, all the way at the top of the atmosphere. So the temperature this day this is the temperature as you move up in the atmosphere this day. Now this right here, this dotted line is your lapse rate. So this is your parcel of air, okay? If your parcel of air is warmer, which it is, which out to the right, this is warmer. This is hot. This is cooler. This is warmer. The farther out you go to the right, it's warmer. If your parcel of air is warmer than your temperature, the temperature of the atmosphere, it's going to rise and expand much quicker. What does that mean? Rising and expanding? This is an updraft. It's gonna rise and then it's gonna expand. When your parcel of air expands, it releases latent heat. This is when you get big, massive thunderstorms produced very quickly. So this is your parcel of air rising, expanding. You're getting condensing. You're getting your moisture condensing. Okay. The larger the difference between your lapse rate and your atmospheric temperature here, right in here, this is called CAPE. The more CAPE you have, the more convective available potential energy you have to create thunderstorms. The only issue with this is at the bottom here, the temperature at the surface is actually warmer than your lapse rate. So that parcel of air can't rise. But this is actually a little bit more of a dangerous look because as you push on further if we push in another 2 to 3 hours into the day, this temperature is going to continue to rise. And once it's at 80, if we push this just up to 82 degrees, which it might be 2 or 3 hours after this cap right here is going to break, snap, and then you could see this explosion of CAPE here, which is when you get huge updrafts, and those updrafts pull spinning air at the surface vertical. That's when you get your tornadoes. So this is just showing us that our parcel of air is warmer than the actual atmospheric temperature, and that means that all of this air is rushing up and condensing and causing massive kind of thunderstorms. So if typically if you have stable air, say I pick like out here, stable air, okay, you don't even see a lapse right here. Let's go to like more stable air. This is kind of unstable, but this is not a ton of CAPE here. Not a ton of CAPE here. And you have your cap here that needs to break as well. So, we do get some decent CAPE partially in Georgia, but not a ton. So, we're going to have some pretty good shear and winds through Georgia, but the CAPE isn't going to be incredible. So typically when you have less CAPE, if you do get tornadoes, they're going to be kind of what we call QLCS tornadoes, quasi-linear convective system tornadoes. They're associated with the squall line. It's a QLCS squall line that creates tornadoes. And they form along the squall line because there's lift out ahead of the squall line because you have cold air running into warm air. The warm air is rushing up and the cold air is sinking. That's what creates your lift. And but those tornadoes tend to be a little bit weaker. So like Georgia could still get tornadoes. We'd expect the stronger tornadoes to be out here. You have a lot more CAPE. But Georgia could still get tornadoes, and anywhere out here could still get tornadoes, but they'd probably be associated with the squall line as it moves over, as that warm air's lifting ahead of the squall line and the cold air sinking behind it. Because that's going to be the lift that you need to tilt up those wind shear kind of columns of air on the surface. So, but when you see the CAPE out here, this is a lot of CAPE out here. You see this section right here that I was talking about earlier, because this is where we're going to have our lower level jet pumping through lots of wind shear and CAPE. This is where the sauce is made. Our 18Z Euro is loading. How far is it going out for us now? It's not going to go out very far for us. Boo! We need the 00Z. Move this back over. And let me go back here. How's Minneapolis looking? Well, we'll see. If this low pressure on Saturday dives any farther south, you could end up in a blizzard in Minneapolis. Right now, it looks like you're going to start off with rain, potentially some severe weather, and then move in and then get maybe a few inches of back end kind of blizzard conditions as the storm moves off on Saturday. It could be a really weird Saturday for Minneapolis. rain and thunderstorms into like maybe thunder snow in the back end. It could be really weird. Yali, you're in. I don't like this at all for you, Yali. I don't like this at all for you. Here's our winds changing with height, and when you get this, this is the type of, this is called a hodograph over here, guys. And when you get this type of pattern like this, that's the spin. That's the spin in the atmosphere, the rotation. So this is a little bit of a concerning look on the hodograph. This is over, I'm looking at Texarkana right now, I think Friday evening. And then you also have Cape here. You can see our Cape here. We've got changing wind direction with height and changing velocity. So we've got 2,200 forecasted Cape, 2,200 joules per kilogram, anything over 1,000, really anything over 1,000 joules per kilogram, you can get a tornado. So a little bit of a concerning look. This would be Friday evening, Friday around 7 p.m. in Texarkana. I'm not liking it either, yeah. Ay. New Orleans is getting slammed lately. Is everything okay? I don't know. The Gulf is very, very warm. It's above average. It's going to be potentially be record breaking as we move forward a little bit farther. It's a degree, 1.5 degrees Celsius above average, which is a big difference for water. So there's a lot more energy down there with these Gulf states. And we're in a weak La Nina. Weak La Ninas allow our jet stream to really dive. It's a weaker jet stream. It can really kind of collapse and dive down farther to the south. So that's why we're watching this area for more severe weather outbreaks than your typical tornado alley right now, this spring. Appreciate it, Ollie. Mississippi's another one. I talked about it. Mississippi up through western Tennessee and western Kentucky. This is my biggest area of concern. I mean, taking a look at what I just looked at, though, I don't like this area either. But we'll have to see. This is my biggest concern area, Mississippi up through Kentucky. Saturday. Yeah. Sorry, I know guys, I know I couldn't answer everyone's questions. I'm tired. I got a little bit of work to get done. Like I said, yeah, I took the weekend off to see family, celebrate my son's birthday. I'll be posting all week. I'll be going live all week, so plan on that. And if I'm not, I'll always update you on TikTok. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate anyone who subbed or followed. I do plan on covering the severe weather outbreak on Saturday for quite a while. And potentially Friday night, we'll have to see. I'm gonna keep my eye on the radar and see what's going on. So again, this is concerning. We've got all our tornado chasers talking about it. A lot of them are heading to Western Kentucky for this, I think, potentially. So, again, this is kind of where we have it right now. Here's our day 6 outlook. Slight. This is probably going to go enhanced or moderate, and there's our day 7 outlook. These are going to expand and grow, and the risk level is going to increase likely. So I appreciate you guys. I'll post a video tomorrow talking a little bit more about kind of where this we're going to have a blizzard set up north here, potentially a sub 970 millibar low, which could be record breaking, could be a major ice event up here to the north too. And we're getting some good snow out in the Rockies. There's a lot to talk about, so I'll get into details. I think tomorrow I'll do, sometimes I do like my 10-minute videos. I think tomorrow I'm going to do the long format video to get in so I can get into all the details. But I appreciate you guys. Everyone have a great night, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Later. Later, Santi.